Hi, it's your coach Joe Lucas, and hey, I hope you're doing well today. Today we'll do something a little bit different in this video. Time to time, I get emails, direct messages on Twitter, LinkedIn notes, things like that from advisors who are just, seeking my counsel, basically my ideas, my strategies on, various different things. And literally yesterday, I received a note via LinkedIn, and I've got it on the screen over, so I'll just read it real quick. Hey, Coach Joe, I've been following you on LinkedIn and Twitter for many years. I'm a 25-year veteran. Last year, I had a really good year, and I really want to make 2018 my best year ever. I got off to a great start, but the last 30 days or so, I've really been in a slump. I really just not been motivated. What can I do to get out of it? Help, right? And then he signs his name. So let's talk about slumps and ruts today, which if you're a human being, you will go into. Now, this is not being depressed. Let's be very clear. We're not talking about that, that depth here. We're talking about just kind of being in a funk, right? And, kind of showing up, not driving things. So first off is how do we get there? So what causes slumps? What causes ruts? There are two primary causes in my experiences. Number one is your mind. Your mind goes sideways. It shifts. You think differently. You run different emotional patterns. You may change your internal dialogue. Where when you're on things, right, when you're really kind of hitting it hard, you go, man, I must get this done. I have to get this done. I'm committed. Blah blah blah. And then after a while, your brain goes, hey man, we've been doing a really good job here. We should get it. We should do our morning ritual today. We will try to do something. So you change your language to yourself. In other words, you take the foot off the throttle. All right. Number two is if you're having success and somewhere in your psychology, right, you don't believe you deserve success, or you're getting uncomfortable with your success. And by the way, this is not a conscious conversation you have. Your brain will go, hey, we're getting really too good at this. We better start sabotaging stuff. And again, it changes your pattern, right? So your psychology will lead to slumps or ruts. The second thing will cause it will be something physical. So maybe you get injured, or there's a change in your physiology, and maybe you get sick or the flu. And that's why this time of year, a lot of times, we get really excited. January, we hit it hard, and here we are in March. And it's like, well, we're kind of falling back into those old patterns again, and we want to stop that. Okay. So, for example, if you get ill and you don't work out and you sleep in late, you break your morning ritual. In other words, you break your patterns, right? So remember something: success is a pattern, failure is a pattern. What they are, right? Success has certain patterns to it, right? Morning ritual, daily game plan, how you talk to yourself, what you see yourself in the mirror, right? How you view yourself, what you believe about yourself, right? There's a pattern there. Failure has a recipe also. Not doing the above I just mentioned, right? But then, you dummy, you get lazy, you stop doing your daily game plan, you sleep in late, you don't eat right, you maybe medicate with drugs and alcohol, things like that, and it shifts your pattern, okay? So that's how we get there. Now, how do we break out? If they're patterns, step one, pattern interrupt. You got to break a pattern, right? So you got to change it. So for example, how do you change patterns? Well, change some habits, change your venue. A lot of times what I recommend to clients is, look, you need to take a couple days off, at least. And please don't go home and sit in your room and ponder life, right? Go somewhere. Go somewhere. When we do business planning, we talk about our inspirational or happy places. Hey, go to one. And in my world, you want to have kind of the real happy places, right? Like Hawaii, for me in Costa Rica, and someplace like that. But then you want to have your local places that don't require you to get on an airplane and travel for a day. Like here in Florida, I've got 2 or 3 places that I think maximum are 2.5 hours away. One's within an hour, and my wife and I can go there for a weekend and kind of get recharged. I cannot overemphasize how important that is. This whole concept of, well, I got to, when I get caught up, or I'm too busy to get away, but yet you're in a rut. I mean, no wonder you're in bad shape, right? So the first thing, break the pattern. Let's go somewhere. Let's do a reset. You do not do a reset in your house. You do not do a reset in your office. You need to go and change the environment. Okay, that's number one. Number two, right? Let's get back to basics. Whenever I've got somebody, so what are basics? Goals, business plans, mental diet, physical diet, morning ritual. Let's focus in on the little things. When athletes go sideways, I don't care what sport you follow, when an athlete goes sideways, any good coach will say, look, let's go back to the fundamentals. Let's go back to the basics. So what are the basics in our business? Morning ritual, daily game plan, talking to people, solving problems, asking for introductions. We get back to the basics. This is what we need to do. And you know, a lot of times people will say, you know, I got to get my business going, you know, or maybe I should blow up my business, right? Maybe I just need to kind of implode it and start all over again. And I always kind of internally I say, okay, let's talk a little bit about that. But my brain goes, no, 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 no. What you need to do is shift you. See, every one of us, our business is a reflection of our own psychology. So if you believe you're worthy and you deserve and you do all those things, hey, you'll have a business that will flourish and it'll be consistent, stuff like that. If you struggle with being successful and it makes you uncomfortable, right? Because look, being poor has a level of uncomfortableness, right? Being wealthy has a level of uncomfortableness. And this is, you know, I'm not blowing smoke here. I see this all the time. It's a very unique dynamic in our industry. This is always about breaking through comfort zones. So, and we'll just use money because I think everybody relates to that pretty well here. So, you know, if you're, and think about this. When you started in your career, a lot of you kind of went like this. Man, if I could just make $100,000, I'm great. Then you get there and you realize, well, it's okay, but there's more, right? Then it's 150, then $250,000, then a half. And then somewhere you kind of get into that, okay, I'm kind of there. And then you get bored. Now, the first thing I'm going to say, this is not about making more money for a lot of you, but money is a resource. Let's call it what it is. It's a resource, right? It's something that our society values. So when I have a client who really has economic abundance and they get bored in their business, that's always a very dangerous place because that's where they can start sabotaging themselves. And sabotaging means falling into a rut, falling into a slump, right? So what we do, my strategy, charitable giving. Hey, where do you want to make a difference? How much money we need to go do that? Do you want to start your own foundation? Do you want to have your name on a wall at a school, right? Or a playground, right? Whatever. And, you know, I get them thinking outside the box. I get them thinking bigger. And now they get a compelling reason. Absence of compelling reasons, absence of goals, you default to slumps and getting by. And that's what it boils down to. So if you're in a slump, if you're in a rut today, number one, recognize it. Don't sit there and say, oh man, I'm just in this place. Bull. Number two, take some time off, which is counterintuitive because your brain goes, I'm not doing what I need to do. I need to stay here and do it. But you've been saying that for weeks, if not months, God forbid years. Break the pattern. You need to do that, right? Reset. If you're, you know, coming up at the end of the first quarter here very soon, so hey, don't sit there and say, hey, you know, well, 2018, I can't do anything. It's, you know, we're into March. Come up with a 9-month business plan. Come up with a set of 9-month goals, right? Really just, hey, make the changes you need to make. And the other thing that will cause a slump and a rut, last thing, mental diet. What you feed your brain with. And, you know, look, I am apolitical when it comes to this stuff, right? Shut off the news. You know, if you got your news things bookmarked on your web browser and you spend most of your day in your office kind of looking at the various news organizations and you know, blogs and pundits and all this stuff, they are costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for what? It doesn't matter. Eliminate those. Focus on you, your family, your clients, and making a difference here. Not worrying about this, right? And for those of you who are listening to me, I made a little small circle that's the here and a big circle which is the there, right? Focus on what you can control. Don't focus on stuff you cannot control, right? Because when you get frustrated, you kind of get hopeless. When we get hopeless, we get into a rut, slump, and away we go. And man, life's too short for that. Why live that way? It's up to you. Have a great day. Talk to you very soon.